I'm always told to stop snoozing and just get up. But like I almost never just get up. And like I'm sure somebody understands, right? Like in the morning time, like yeah, I try and go to sleep on time and early. But there's every single time there's something that's keeping me in that bed and snoozing every day at 5 a.m. I have an alarm that goes off every day at 5 a.m. And for whatever reason, sometimes I don't even snooze it. I just don't even hear it. Like, I'm sure that there's somebody that relates to that. Like, I can't be the only one that sets 11 different alarms, right? And then I end up waking up, and it's 25 minutes before my first meeting, before I got to head off to work, right? And now I got to shower, brush my teeth, put on deodorant, like the little stuff. But even that, like feeling rushed to start my day off on the wrong foot is never good, all right? Just because if I can wake up and actually take good time to transform, my morning from just this chaotic mess to something that's actually productive and empowering, to just get off on a solid start with a good morning routine, like I'll be much more productive that day. Like I won't wake up, closing my eyes while I'm working and exhausted and tired. Like what I'm excited to talk to you about for tip 1 this week is exactly how do you start to develop a morning routine that actually empowers and like pushes nothing but productivity into your day. How are we going to boost your mood with that and overall build up really good success? I have 3 pieces of information about why it is so important. I'm going to get to that just a little bit later, but I want to talk about some components of like what makes an effective morning routine for you. All right. First thing, the wake up strategy is extremely important, right? There's too many of us that don't have an alarm, or like you have an alarm, but like you work at different times on different days, right? Like maybe today, or maybe on Saturdays and Tuesdays you work at 9 a.m. and Wednesdays you work at 8 a.m. But for whatever reason on Thursdays you work at like 6 a.m., right? Like actually having a time daily that you wake up the same time, even if you have different work to do, different times to go to work, it's so important because it starts to build this routine for you to wake up at the same time every single day, even if it's the weekend. Like, yeah, we want to sleep in on the weekend if we don't work on the weekends. And I'm not sure how many of you guys actually work on the weekends or not, but we want to sleep in. But it's so critical to the natural way that your body wakes up and starts to feel, if it knows exactly when it's going to wake up. All right. And now a couple other little pieces with waking up. Like waking up to natural light is amazing. All right. Just getting up and open up the windows, if at all possible. Leave the blinds open if you don't have too many lights outside at nighttime, so that way as the sun rises it can naturally wake you up, right? I know a lot of us, and I know it's tough because I've done it so much in my life, a lot of us have those crazy alarms that just go ballistic. Wake up to a gentle alarm so that way it's actually calming and soothing. Why would you want your day to start off chaotic? And also, like, figure out a way to just get rid of the snooze button. There's some applications out there that don't have a snooze button, and you have to do puzzles. Puzzles to get your day started. Puzzles, which is really effective. All right. Next, I want to talk about hydration and nutrition, because obviously you can wake up and you probably feel all dry mouth, right? Cotton mouth, or whatever the case is. Drink water. Right? Maybe eat a nice, nutritious, good breakfast. And I know we hear that all the time. And don't talk about the way I say breakfast. I know we hear it all the time, right? But maybe eat an apple with that bottle of water that you drink. Just to help get your body starting to like function from all the rest that it has had. And with getting your body functioned, 3, actually start to have at least a little bit of physical activity in your life in the morning. I have a good buddy of mine loves doing just 10 push-ups, 10 crunches every morning. That's going to get your body. Like, yeah, I know for some of us, right? Like for me, it is a struggle and it's a whole physical activity just to get out of bed. Like, I know that, but that's not the kind of physical activity I'm talking about. Right? Maybe just go on a walk. If you have dogs, take them on a walk every morning. Right? Oh, but Charming, I don't have the time to take them on a walk in the morning. Wake up earlier. Oh, but Charming, I got to work at 5 a.m. So wake up at 4 a.m., take the dogs on a walk. What excuses are you going to give yourself for not taking care of your morning routines so that way your day is productive? Right? Maybe stretch. Maybe that morning time is perfect for you to go to the gym, get an actual intense workout in. All right. Number 4, mindfulness and mental preparation is extremely important. Like, I love waking up. This is something that I do. I love waking up in the morning. And before I even get out of bed, my phone, I have plenty of little books on my phone, right, on Audible and things like that, where I open them up, is already kind of still on that like night light. And so like, it's not crazy bright on my eyes, but I'll wake up and I'll sit up in bed and I'll open up my phone and I'm able to just start reading. Read in the mornings. Take some time to do some meditation, maybe journal, especially if you're an active dreamer. Oh, if you're an active dreamer, you should be journaling every morning. Take like 30 to 45 minutes, and not an hour, to actually journal and set a good positive mindset for the day. Like, is it extremely important when you wake up to avoid turning on TV, to watch what happened overnight and like actually getting on and scrolling through social media? Like, yeah, I understand you want to catch up. You can do that later. You're probably going to do that later. But that first hour of your day is so important for making sure that the like productivity happens the whole day. Right? And my last thing, plan your day. Like in the morning after you wake up, the very first thing after you wake up, if you do some of that meditation, that prayer, journaling, reading, things like that, very next thing you should do is take the time to look at what you have to do that day. You got to go to work at like your 9 to 5. What do you have to do that day? Do you have clients and people to call and get ready to text and, send confirmations? Go ahead and start planning that out. Look at your day and mentally prepare your mind. Maybe use some sort of like digital planners as well, to like, as soon as you wake up and after your hour of reading, right, it sends you like a little notification. Hey, you have this many tasks to say. There are so many ways to set up little wins and little goals. And if you set those little wins or those little goals for the day, you start to have these small wins. And by the end of the day, you feel so much more accomplished because of everything that you just did. Now, I want to talk about why it is so important to have a morning routine. All right. And these are those 3 pieces, right? There's just scientific backing to it, where there's actually many studies that show that a consistent morning routine will improve. Well, I'll say can improve your mental health, your productivity, and your overall physical wellness. Right? We want to take care of the full total fitness of ourselves, right? Our mental well-being, our emotional well-being, physical, your professional, personal, mental, it'll take good care of all of those pieces, right? A second huge importance of it is just because, like, for me, before I started my current morning routine where I wake up, I read for an hour, and then I do some working out, right? I'll either walk the dogs or do some sort of exercise. And then I'll come back and I'll try and eat before I have my first meeting of the day, right? Before I was doing that, I was waking up all different times of the morning. I would feel so rushed and so unproductive that day already. And even going to sleep will be just a hassle because I'll have so many things that are going through my brain because I didn't sort it out during the day. But I realized that if I can wake up, read, look at my calendar for the day, go get some working out and eat, it helps me prepare and plan for that entire day, so much so that I expect everything that's going to happen. And I know that there's going to be obstacles along the way, right? That I get the chance to also overcome and do plan B, C, and D's for. And then at the end of the day, my mind is so clear and I can just lay down because I got done, right? So it is so important to optimize your morning routine just because you really start to feel so much better. And the third big thing is just because if you master that morning overall is not just going to affect you, but imagine the kind of people that you're bringing to your life, right? We talk about changing up your environment, right? Like, yeah, you can't change the weather, but you can change your environment. You want to talk about changing your environment? Wake up with this fresh feeling every day and become productive immediately. You're going to find an amazing environment of other people, or you'll just start to influence the others as they see how your life elevates. It's something that a lot of people don't want to do. So here's one thing to start to kind of implement your morning, like some actual like good habits into your morning routine. And so I want to say, first off, you need to start small. All right, start very small. Why? Because there's going to be tons and tons of challenges that come in your way. And too many of us is just like the New Year's thing, right? Where you have this New Year's resolution of losing this much weight, and going to the gym every single day and doing this and blah, 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 blah. And like, for whatever reason, people feel like just because it is now January 1st, they have self-discipline. Like, no, you have to build that muscle of self-discipline, right? And so here's one thing that I did. Because for me, it was extremely tough for me to just wake back up and just start going to the gym every day. All right. And so instead, what I did, I started off really small. So take the goal that you want. It doesn't need to be a massive goal, right? Just take the goal that you want. I want to go to the gym 5 times a week. All right, cool. How am I going to break that all the way down to a little small thing? For me, if I can just wake up at the same time every day, and I know I'm going to go to the gym for a week straight. If I plan on going to the gym at 6 a.m. every day, you know what? Cool. I'm going to wake up 5 times a week at 6 a.m. and do something else. Just stay awake. That's for win number one. You know how empowering it is to actually say, every day this week, I actually woke up on time. You know, I could probably actually go to the gym. Cool. Next week, that's what you're going to do. You're going to wake up at 6 a.m. every day, 5 days out the week, put on your gym shoes and your gym clothes, or put on your gym clothes and your gym shoes, and then take it off and go back and do things in your day. Start small, because you start to build up these habits, and now your body's used to, because it's been 2 weeks of habit building, right? Now your body's used to waking up at 6 a.m. Continue doing that. 3rd week, now that you actually have put your clothes on, drive to the gym, look at the gym, wave, come back home. Like, actually do that. Like I actually did these things, and I had an accountability buddy that made sure. He's like, hey, did you drive and wave at the gym? I did drive to the gym and wave. Yes. Guess what you're going to do week 4? Now you're used to doing all these things. Week 4, now you're going to walk into the gym. These small wins are going to help you build a great foundation of a morning routine. Walk into the gym, walk around the gym, walk out, leave. Next week, walk into the gym, actually go into the locker room, put your stuff away, grab your stuff, walk out, right? Then next time, maybe this one day that you do that, this following week, this next week, you actually like go and stretch. Like, imagine that, right? Yeah, you're about 2 months in, but you imagine all the habits that you've built up by just waking up at the same time, putting on clothes, like doing things, and then you come back, and you have the whole day ahead of you. You're going to figure out ways to be productive, especially if you're trying to grow, right? Next, be very consistent, right? Amongst all of that, the same thing. I said the same thing. 5 days a week, do the same thing. And then also understand that, like, sometimes you might need to adjust and change your circumstances, and that's okay. Don't adjust but not adapt. That's what a lot of people do, right? The first instance of some kind of obstacle, they adjust, fire. They say, "Oh, okay, I'll go to a different time," and then they just never actually adapt to that. We'll start all the way over, right? Start all the way over. Another big thing is time management when it comes to it, right? You're going to end up having a lot of different random nights where you don't get to sleep on time. It's going to happen, right? Figure out a way to mitigate that ahead of time, so that way you actually get to sleep, you wake up on time, right? I know that there's a lot of different issues with like motivation as well for just getting up. Look, one great thing that you can do is just like actually track what it is that you are doing. So let's say 5 days out of the week, you actually do wake up. Imagine what it looks like the next day. The next week when you look back, you say, oh, wow, I actually did that. I actually accomplished the goal that I set. That little piece of motivation is going to push you so much further. All right. But overall, just make sure that when you are specifically working on building up your morning routine, you understand that like you do need to actually have a good strategy of waking up, eat, drink some good water, actually build into your morning daily routine a couple sit-ups, crunches or whatever, right? Make sure you're also being mindful every morning, read some good books. And that's a really good time. Imagine if you just read 10 pages a day in the morning, how much that's going to do for you. Reading 10 pages a day, that's 3,650 pages a year, right? Which let's say that there's, a book is 300 pages. That's 10 books right there that you read that year. It's fantastic. Now, most businesses only read about 40 books a year. So catch up to them. But with that being said, the last big thing I want to talk about is figuring out a way to prioritize where your stress goes and actually start to plan your entire day. Start small, make sure you adjust and adapt. But most importantly, understand that you should track it to keep that motivation.